Earlier this week, we discussed a heartwarming moment between Rylan and a fan named Ewan with Alzheimer's, which captured the internet, if not the nation's attention. Take a look at this.
Tell us about your relationship with Rylan, your mate.
What do you want to know?
Anything.
When did you last see him?
Actually, he was in our house not so long ago.
Anyway, he said he couldn't get hold of you. He just sent me that message to show you.
It's your mate, Rylan.
Shall I send it to you?
I hope you're well. Sorry I ain't seen you for a little while, but I hope you're good, and I look forward to seeing you really, really soon. Lots of love, and we'll grab a beer.
I'll see you again. See you again soon.
Well, as we continue our Defying Dementia campaign, we're joined now by Ewan's daughter, Julia, alongside Shan Welby, who has a personal connection to this topic, with her father also battling the disease. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Thank you for joining us. I know this is such a lovely story. I mean, it's a sad story, but a lovely story at the same time. So your dad, Julia, he does think he's best mates with our Rylan, doesn't he?
He does. He always talks about Rylan. He's got a few, but Rylan's the favourite. And he just will say things like, you know, oh, Rylan's a good old mate of mine, I can get hold of him, this kind of thing. It's kind of a random link. I guess it's from, like, seeing him on TV or, you know, newspapers and that sort of thing. And he also thinks Harry Styles and Fred from First Dates is his friend.
He's got good company.
Yeah.
He's keeping it, keeping it classy. He's keeping it A-list. We like that.
Exactly, yes.
So where did his symptoms first start to develop, and how quick was that?
I think I started noticing it about 10 years ago, and then he was diagnosed 8 years ago, just through, you know, forgetting names and just getting very confused with things.
So that would have been late 60s, because he's 79 now, isn't he?
Yes, he is, yeah. And sort of the last few years, it's progressed quite quickly.
What's the kind of stuff you started noticing quite early?
Just, you know, if you'd ask him to do something, he'd get confused, you know, very difficult to hold a conversation. You know, he'd... Just basic tasks, really, he struggles with now. And it's really challenging because my mum's his full-time carer now, pretty much, and he can't really do anything on his own. So, yeah, the last few years it's progressed quite a bit.
Yeah, and you're a comedian as well, Julia.
I am.
Yeah, so you go round, and I suppose you know, sometimes you try and find the comedy in things.
Exactly.
You try and deal with things, don't you? It's like a protection, really.
Because I do that as sort of a job. I found that you can find humour in anything, really, and I sort of, in life, kind of try and make lols out of lemons. And I think in something like this, which is really serious and challenging, if I can bring some light and humour to it, you know, my dad's still got a sense of humour, even though he's lost a lot of other things. So it's just something that we connect on.
And so you filmed a video of your dad saying that he thought that Rylan was his best mate. And then you popped that online.
I put it on my stories, tagged Rylan, and I saw that Rylan reshared it. And then I just reached out and said, hi, you know, my dad loves you. Any chance you'd say hi? And then he very kindly sent that lovely video over. So that's sort of how that all came about. Yeah, so thanks, Rylan.
Yeah,
How nice is Rylan?
What I love is the fact your dad was like, yeah, of course he's my mate. So, like, the rest of us are like, isn't that a lovely moment? Your dad thought, well, he's my friend, so of course he's going to send me a message. Why wouldn't he?
Yeah, it's the little thumbs up as well, like, you're right, mate.
Yeah, so sweet.
And has he got any other mates? Like, so is Rylan Fred?
So he thinks that he taught Fred from First Dates how to swim. I'm not sure where that sort of confusion comes in, but we always just go along with it, because I think at the beginning we'd kind of maybe say, like, oh, you know, and I think that just confuses them more, you know, if you kind of correct them. So I always say not to correct people, really.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I think that there is this whole thing of, at the beginning, because especially when you don't realise they've got dementia or Alzheimer's yet, you do start correcting them, and then it gets more and more confusing. So when I saw that video, I totally related to my dad, because I wouldn't correct him. He tells me all sorts of things that aren't true. I know that I bought him a jacket. He'll tell me he got it in Paris somewhere, and I just go, oh, did you? Oh, you know, and you just go along with it, because then the conversation can carry on, can't it?
Otherwise it's going to be very strange.
Does that... Yeah, but on a practical level, the conversation carry on. But in terms of how, like, your fathers see the world, does that then... Do you think that then affirms they're like, oh, OK, no, I'm doing good, I'm feeling, like, pretty good about the world that I'm living in now, as opposed to, if you're constantly correcting, do you see that sort of irritation?
Oh, definitely, yeah. They would get very frustrated and, you know, they try and sort of... you know, when they can't pinpoint what they're trying to say, I can see that he gets very frustrated. So I just think just go along with it. Exactly like you said, keeps the energy flowing. And...
Yeah, I think there could be the odd thing you might pick them up on if he doesn't feel to... And then sometimes I go, oh, yes, Dad, you said that. And you'll go, oh, I did, didn't I? And that's OK, I think. I think it's a mixture of that nice balance so they don't feel embarrassed. I think there's a lot of shame, isn't there?
Exactly.
because there are moments when they're really aware that they're A, repeating themselves, or B, not making sense. And it's a bit of pride that you don't want them to lose.
Yeah.
So you sort of keep that going, and then normally the conversation moves on anyway, and then you're like, everyone feels involved, don't they?
100%.
How is your dad, Shan? Is he all right?
He's doing so well, thanks. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's weird, isn't it? Because when you find out they get dementia, it's normally a lot later than probably when it started. And we were just saying, you know, we were chatting away, saying that we get frustrated with our dads before we knew that they had Alzheimer's or dementia, because they would just do silly things, or you'd ask them to do a simple task that you thought, you know, oh, Dad, do you mind getting this from the shops or whatever? And they'd just totally forget. And then you start realising, oh, I reckon he had it a lot longer. You know, my dad only got diagnosed sort of after COVID, really.
Right.
So it was late.
I mean, you know, both your approaches just seem so kind of like fulfilling and life-affirming. So what advice would you give to people that are just watching this who might have just had that diagnosis in their family?
Well, we find that music really, really helps. It's something that triggers my dad really positively. So we do lots of dancing together, and I think anything that's sort of familiar to them, you know, from the past, really helps. And just like you said, just going along with things, trying to keep the energy light, and also just to give support to the full-time carers, because it's really challenging.
Sure.
And his dog how does his dog help him? Because I know that you think like Fred and Ryland are his best mates, but really his dog's his best mate.
The dog's the best mate. Yeah, his dog Stevie, he absolutely adores him. So he still takes him for little walks and takes him to the pub and that sort of thing, and that's really lovely.
Well, Julia, we've actually got a little message from Ryland for you. We hope your dad's watching.
No, it's starting. You can't
stop. Here it is.
Hi, Jules. It's Ryland. I hope you're well. I just wanted to say thank you for your message the other day. When I saw that message, it was just one of those that I couldn't scroll past. So, sending that little video to your dad and seeing how happy it made him made me very happy. I didn't realise it was going to be such a big thing like this, but yeah, I couldn't skip that message. I want to send all my love to you and your dad and your family, and I hope he holds me to that. We will go for a beer at some point when he's feeling up to it. So I'm sorry I couldn't be there today, but I look forward to meeting you all at some point. Sending lots of love as always.
Oh,
so nice. And the thing is, what you don't know is Ryland now will become a friend of your dad.
Yeah.
You'll be like, it'll get to the point where like, is he coming around again?
I love it. As long as I can join for the beer, let's get it out.
Julia, Shan, thanks for sharing your stories, because that would have helped so many people. And then you and I hope you're watching. Little message from Ryland for you there. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
guys.